Hello, Laura J. Hamilton here. And this missing tooth, I am congenitally missing it. My aunt is on my mom's side, as is my great grandpa on mom's side. So it's what I believe to be a karmic pattern that needed to be cleared on a hereditary level. And so it kept getting passed on until somebody in the lineage dealt with it. And so I am willing to deal with it. And the funny thing is that I got this done in September of 2015. And it was supposed to be done and dusted by Christmas. And then I went in to get the healing cap, which is this lovely post, which is what the tooth will be going on to. I went to go get that put on in November, and instead of going on, the whole screw that is in my jaw, that is called an implant, came out. And I had to start the entire process over. And cannot tell you how disheartened I was that I had to go through that whole process again. And the best thing is, I smile very gummy, and I had this denture with a fake gum up top that I didn't like. And so I'm actually happy not having anything here compared to wearing that denture, which is really funny. But the best part about this entire process is that the universe would not let me cover it up again, because this is a permanent solution. So I basically have spent the last 9 months, a full pregnancy, without a tooth there, so that I had to go back to being the 11-year-old girl that thought that she should never have children because, God forbid, she pass on this flaw. How ridiculous. And yet it was what I believed. My tooth, the lack of it, made me imperfect. How many of our girls think that one silly little thing makes them not good enough, not beautiful, not worthy? When I was 15, I got my sweat glands removed, which I had what I learned afterwards to be hyperhidrosis, overactive sweat glands. And at the time, I thought they were just kind of like a gland. You know, you just kind of like surgically go in there, get it out. Because my cousin said his friend also excessively sweated, and she had had her sweat glands removed, and it solved the problem. And being 15 and him saying, hey, get it done before you're 16 and OHIP will pay for it if it is affecting you psychologically. I went in to my doctor. I got the specialist appointment because I was so insecure because of how embarrassed I used to get about sweating and having pit stains. They're not really fabulous, but they're not the end of the world either. And the point is that when you're persuasive and persistent, you often get what you want. And sometimes you don't necessarily know that you don't want it unless you have seen somebody that had it and then would know to do something different. And what I can tell you for sure is that you would not want to have the scars that are both about like that underneath of my armpits. You would not want to have those because they are far more hideous than a little bit of pit sweat ever will be. So I share that as well because that was another reason I thought I wasn't good enough to But all of these little stories that go into the lessons I learned because of my insecurities, I hope can save a young girl by helping you recognize that regardless of whether it's your pit stains or whether it's a smile or some other kind of feature, or whether you talk in a different way from other people, You're you. You just need to learn to work with you. If you sweat a lot, wear dark. If you don't have a tooth in the front of your mouth, work on it and smile anyway. Because anybody that judges you because you look different than you would if what you were working on were finished, you are your business. Insecurity is simply when you do not feel safe within yourself because you are not treating yourself the way that you would treat a child. If you don't treat yourself the way you would treat a child, you are not going to serve yourself or the people that receive you, because it's the ripple effect. You experience something here and then you take it out over there. And then whoever is in that there space takes it out to there and expands. And you can either put out good vibes or not so good vibes. And all of them come back to you. So what do you prefer? Do you want to look at that gap in your smile and focus on that to the exclusion of everything else that's in the picture? Do you want to look at that one toe that's a little longer than the other ones and decide that everyone else is looking there too? John Maxwell does a teaching about the 18-40-60 rule, where at 18 you think everybody's looking at you. At 40, you realize, because most people aren't looking at you, and then when you're 60, you realize that nobody's looking at you because everyone is just completely consumed by themselves. What other people think of you is absolutely none of your business, because it has nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with them. You are simply the mirror that is reflecting them back to them in this moment. And they are the mirror that is reflecting you back to you. So what mirrors do you choose to look through? And are they clean? This young couple moved into this house. And in the morning over breakfast, the wife was standing at the window looking out at the elderly woman next door putting her clothes out onto the line. And she says, "Oh my God, she's putting dirty clothes to hang onto the line? What is that about?" And went about her day thinking she's better than her. And then the next morning, same thing. She comes out in the morning with her load of clothes, and the woman criticizes and judges about just how dirty that woman's clothes are and what kind of woman is that to be putting dirty clothes on the clothesline. And then one morning she comes down into the kitchen and she looks out the window and she sees the woman putting out the clothes and she says, "Oh wow, she's putting out clean clothes today." And the husband said, "No dear, I just went and washed the windows." The lens you look at the world through matters. It is completely based on your expectations. What you will permit to come to you and through you. Based on what you expect to come through you and to you. Make them one and the same. To and through. To and through. You get the idea, you take action. You get the idea, take action. The law of attraction, 6 most important letters, action. You can't get it unless you go after it. And whatever your hang-up was, whatever your missing tooth or scars under your armpits, whatever your imperfection is, own it. It's not going anywhere probably. If it is, it wouldn't be such a big hang-up. And if it is a huge hang-up because it's temporary, then you really need to get over yourself. Because it's not that big a deal. And I don't say that to dismiss you, because you matter. But it doesn't define you. And that's the shift, that when you make it, you change whether you own it or whether it owns you. I hope this all serves you. I love you. I celebrate you. And I wish for you to come to know the beauty you bring to the world by just being you. Laura J. Hamilton.